All right. Yellowhorn Podcast, episode 8. 8 deep, Zach. We're all the way in it.
We made it.
Yeah, we made it, bro. I think at 8 specifically, you just become legit as a podcast. 1 through 7,
How'd you find that number?
and
Like,
I just
does it come to you in a dream?
no, I think that's just the accepted number for podcasts and specifically for Pokemon podcasts, specifically. Once you hit 8, you're doing fine. 1 through 7, it's sort of just like amateur hour, but we made it to number 8. So, thank you
Okay.
guys for tuning in. For all of the episodes, of course, no guests today because we're just not that popular. People don't like us that much. No, I'm just kidding. We didn't have, I don't know. It's nice to just have the two of us sometimes. Like, we like guests, but sometimes we just have topics that we really
A
want
lot
to.
of things too about guests too, right? Like you gotta it's working with schedules, time zones. Like
Yeah, right,
everyone's doing their own stuff nowadays. We're in a pandemic. You think that everyone's just home, but I mean, I've never been as busy as I have been in my life right now.
right.
I'm sure Maddie's probably like, yeah, going back to all this stuff. You got a lot of stuff going on. So I mean, I'm happy to have us too because it also makes it more of like an intimate discussion, how we could just
Exactly.
kind of rant and whatever about whatever we want to talk about. We don't necessarily have to worry about anyone else's opinions. Not to say that we don't. That being said, if you do want to be a guest in the future, let us know. Hit us up in the DMs,
Yeah, for
or
sure.
hit up SpaceX because we don't know who runs our own Twitter.
Hit up SpaceX. Hit up Elon Musk because I think he runs
Yeah,
our
hit up
Twitter.
Elon Musk. I
Yeah,
think he made that Jake Gearhart image or something like that.
yeah, he must have made that meme. But I mean, either way, yeah, it's just the two of us today. We got some good
Alright.
topics. We got some good topics to cover today, Zach. We're not gonna drag on too much. We're trying to stay in line as much as we, I guess, can. We're probably not too great at doing that, but you know what? Good topics today. And there was some recent news that came out, and the first thing that we're gonna talk about, Zach, was the postponement of the official Pokemon TCG Worlds World
Yikes.
Championship tournaments being postponed to 2022. Now, Zach, I didn't actually read too much into it. I saw the post and stuff, but I was busy today. I assume this just means there's no official sanctioned IRL Pokemon events in general until around that time, right?
So Pokemon's like, yep, global pandemic. A lot of y'all. I mean, I hope that all of y'all who listen here are wearing a mask, going safely. No, all social gatherings are not really going. I know I've heard of some unofficial events going on.
Mm,
I've heard of some unofficial convention centers going on. That is something I legitimately frown upon. I
yeah,
don't want to hear that you're going to these things
right.
because that's what's ruining everyone's opportunities for going to Worlds, being safe. Like, let's not even take Pokemon into the equation. I just want everyone to be safe, happy, healthy, COVID free, all that good stuff. But yeah, Pokemon's just like, we're gonna cancel our season or postpone our season. No league challenges, no league cups. They're going everything by the books, and then they're going to continuously support their league at home, team challenge, and players cup events. Is basically how they said. And then they're going to monitor what the global whatever is to determine when they're going to come back, hoping for a Worlds in 2022, the same location that they've been trying to hold it for the past London. So
Right. So London, I mean, London's going to be pretty cool, but again, that's a very, heavily populated metropolitan area, right? So I think that you got to be safe. Hopefully by 2022, all the vaccines are running out or are given out.
for a threshold that makes it like
Yeah.
appropriate.
Right. And I think it's pretty easy to sort of give out a vaccination and get documentation along with it, right? To sort of prove that you're safe to come and play. And it's travel in general, right? With something like Worlds, like it's heavily based around people across the world coming to play, especially with like the free trip. I know Zach won a free trip from winning the Players Cup, right?
It's in the bank somewhere. I'm gonna go somewhere sometime.
They'll call
Uh,
you right at the right on 2021. It'll be like
I
end
mean,
of December. They'll be like,
at least with the way that the Pokemon's been going, I don't think they're going bankrupt anytime soon. So I think
yeah,
we're pretty good.
I think so too,
I think
man.
that trip's safe.
Yeah, I think as long as evolutions packs are $100 each, I think that no one's going down the hole anytime soon. But that's a whole nother. We're so off topic just immediately, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, there's people like back in the day, like there used to be the guys with the puffy jackets, and they'd stand on the street corners and they'd be doing illegal activities. Now those guys with the puffy jackets are literally selling evolutions packs, being like, got evolutions, got the crimsons, got the sword and shields.
And they have just like a
And
complete knockoff like like Greek base set pack in there too that they're trying to sell to you.
Yeah, exactly. I think only Krollo sells those.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
He probably sells other things as well, but we're not gonna get into it.
Perhaps. His ASMR mixtapes and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
That being said, Worlds being canceled sucks. I think we can all kind of be like, we were all hoping to go to Worlds, or we all had an idea of being like, if you weren't going to Worlds, you were hoping to watch Worlds from home,
right.
because Worlds brings out the biggest exciting action.
Yeah.
I mean, Maddy's an online Pokemon tournament organizer. The next kind of segue is like, where do you go from now? Now that your hopes and dreams of going to Worlds this summer in London is canceled. I mean, I think anyone who's kind of been monitoring COVID and monitoring the pandemic realized that this decision was eventually going to happen. A lot of people are not socially distancing.
No.
A lot of places are significantly getting worse. It is not safe right now. And I mean, if you're an anti-masker, I understand how your argument might go against that. It doesn't change the fact Worlds is actually canceled. Playing an online event. I've been playing Chills on Wednesdays. I've been thoroughly enjoying it. Our format's a little bit stale, but that's not to say that it can't grow, with Shining Fates coming out later this month and Battle Styles coming out a couple weeks after that.
Battle Styles, man. I love it. I tell you what, the more that I wait, the more of these sort of future format deck list videos that I make, Zach, I just get excited. And I think that at some point there's like a tipping point where like, you know, yeah, things like Eternatus VMAX, Senna Scourge VMAX, there's so much. They're very above and beyond other VMAX decks or VMAX Pokemon right now. But at some point, when you just get such a wide collection of maybe not high or top tier level VMAX cards or V cards, but just sort of, you know, solid ones in their own right, the format begins to look a little bit less stale. And at that point, you know, if we have to ban Senti E-Turn and we just roll with sort of decks that aren't above and beyond better, you know, who knows? I mean, I'm not a big fan of bans, but like right now we're, you know, a lot of tournaments are banning ADP, and I'm not sure it's really changing much. We see things like Peak and E-Turn and Senti just sort of dominating right now.
I agree with that. I mean, I literally just won an ADP ban like tournament, the E&D's event. And I mean, I played Eternatus, which is a viable deck, probably more viable than ADP.
Yes.
And it's just like, in my mind, I'm like, why would you ban a card that is less viable than the deck that I just won with? It's literally shooting someone while they're down. ADP is accessible for players in the game.
Yeah.
With the new League Battle deck, like, I just don't want to be like that. Like, I don't want to see the kid at Walmart whose mom, like, slaved over her 5 jobs during Christmas to buy an ADP League Battle deck. And this kid's like, cool, I can't play in insert events. So I would hope that anyone who currently is banning ADP legitimately listens to me. I know a few things about the game. Won the Players' Cup 2, still playing events, not considered top 10 on some people's lists, gigantic wink. But it's one of those things that it's just one of those things where I just don't see why it's banned. It sucks. I understand it's a cheese condition. Let's not ban any cards unless something actually gets out of hands. And if you are banning anything, shout out to my home slice, Gazer Beam. Gazer Beam's Field of Dreams tournament actually had somewhat of a viable ban list where they were banning a lot of the top things. I mean, I think a format where you just ban 3 prize card attackers is probably just acceptable.
It's a good, in my opinion, I think it's a good format, right? I mean, there's a lot of decks that can do really well. The only thing with that is like, it would take a while for it to get the meta to get cracked open, right? It's so much different than the meta. It's really completely
though. Like if there's anyone, like I know there's a bajillion tournaments on Limitless. If someone wanted to run an event, ban 3 prize card Pokemon plus Zacian, and the format seems instantly better than an ADP ban tournament.
Dude, can you imagine? That would change it incredibly, man. I mean, think about. I mean, there's obviously some single prize archetype decks that are good, right? I'm not saying Blounds and Mad Party wouldn't still be good, but they wouldn't be as good without the potential to take 3 prizes.
Single prize card decks that naturally like are predators to that deck.
Yeah,
I think the format that would flip the format on its head, give us a fresh chance. So if anyone wants to do something like that, I think that'd be super cool. At the end of the day, though, it sucks because anything that is not strictly standard and doesn't follow the League Cup regional style of event does not count for like Pokestats. So anyone who's chasing like any kind of goal of invitational, proving themselves, which is a whole other discussion. That's a whole other podcast episode. Yeah. It is bothersome that my tournament win does not count for anything. And my, like, there's a few things that whatever. At the end of the day, I think we should unban ADP from our online events. That whole thing was a bit of a gimmick that I think did nothing at all. I don't think there's any data, but playing online events are fun. Um,
Yeah.
Also, I know Maddie and I have talked about this a bunch. If you are looking for a way to kind of make the most out of your pandemic as a player, also maybe push for some content, do something with your online events, because just playing in online events is kind of crazy. Even at the ones that like win you money, and that's no kind of I don't want to like shed a negative light on any of these cash events because GG Tour, our sponsor, literally runs some of them. I think they're awesome and super fun to play in. There's a regionals vibe. A lot of the time, most players are not making their money back in time spent. It's
Yeah.
more of like a
No,
hobby driven thing.
for sure.
So just let anyone know, like I don't feel like I'm profiting off these online events. Even the Players Cup, I probably got a $5,000 prize. I don't even know if that was, not to say it's not worth my time spent in the events, but dollar per hour minimum wage type preparation for an event like that.
Yeah,
It's one of those things, making sure that you're doing content with it, double up, double dip where you can.
for sure, man.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think if like it's to the same effect, right? As if you win $500 playing one of these online GG Tour regionals, like that's sweet, but you shouldn't be really banking on this and paying rent with your Pokemon winnings, right? Online winnings. You should probably have a job, and you should probably make sure that your priorities are in line.
$100, Maddie.
What's up?
I don't know where rent is like $500. Michelle and I are like looking
rent.
at $2,000 on the first, and I was like, yikes. And we don't even have like the nicest apartment or anything like that. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, $500. I don't think it's getting you that far.
Right.
Maybe put a little bit of gas in the tank. Maybe take your significant other or your cousin out for dinner, whichever one, or both.
Or no, definitely not.
Could be both. I don't know. I know
If they're separate,
whatever.
yeah. But if your cousin
Separate,
shouldn't be your
sure.
significant other, yeah, okay.
No, I mean it could be.
No, well, it shouldn't be.
There's crazier things. We're in a global pandemic.
All right, we're off topic.
I'm not trying to advocate for anything. Take your friend out for a nice dinner.
Yeah, okay. Leave it at that.
Your friend.
friend. Somebody you know or whatever. No
Yeah,
no
somebody you know.
details.
Take out Gabe Smart. Gabe Smart with the Google image search for the chicken piccata.
Chicken piccata. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
to get back on track and the whole world's 2022 thing being postponed. It's interesting because as a tournament organizer and somebody who's sort of bases their content off of sort of people playing in the online community right now. It's to me, I and I've talked about this a little bit. I was a guest on the Pittsburgh Pokemon podcast.
Check them out.
Yeah, check that out. It was fun. It was a good podcast. I shout out to them for bringing me on. It was really fun. But one of the things we talked about was, when things go back to normal, the pandemic kind of subsides and people go back to the IRL events, what is it going to look like for people like me and for the online community? And, I don't think that it's going to disappear. At least that's not how it seems to me. After all this time we've spent sort of building it up and it becoming really sort of relevant and popular right now, I don't think that it's going to completely disappear when IRL events come back. We probably will see a dip. Like, I'm not saying it won't, but I think there's going to be a very interesting sort of split between the community when it comes to sort of the, like the season, when it comes to the IRL actual Pokemon season, people who are traveling, playing in these big events, trying to win worlds, trying to win regionals. And then there's the people, right, who from across the entire world are still very much, interested in competing in PTCGO and sort of doing that primarily. So I
agree.
I think that it's not going to go anywhere for me, particularly, and I can't say that I'm happy that Worlds got postponed, right? I mean, as somebody, like, I got into Pokemon shortly before the pandemic, so, I haven't really had a chance to go to, like, a regional and meet some of these people that I met online, have fun with them, and sort of get that experience. I really want to get that experience, and I want to grow as a player because I love the game. And, of course, obviously I'm not going to Worlds, but, like, the chance to go to actual other events, whether it's regionals or locals or whatever it might be, that's the experience that I want to have. And, now I'm going to have to wait even longer. So there's upsides, there's downsides for me particularly. But, for the most part, I definitely think it's not great. How do you think they're going to do it, Zach? So for like the 2021 stuff, say if you were to win like Players Cup 5 or something, are they going to give you free travel and everything to like Worlds 2023 or...
I think it depends if and when Worlds comes back. So I think every venue continuously looks at it. They're like, Okay, in a year and a half from now, things are going to be the grass is greener on the other side. Like Michelle and I, the weekend, who just literally did that halftime show, is a Toronto local native. And I mean, he put out his tour announcement for 2022. Michelle and I could buy tickets on the website right now. Do I think that I'm going to a concert in a year? I like, I don't think like right now we only have essential services open, pharmacies, gas stations, everywhere mask required, grocery stores. I can't sit inside a restaurant right now. So I don't know how I'm going to go from a year not being able to sit inside of a restaurant to be going to a concert venue or even be going to a different country, even going to a different province state.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I don't necessarily know if and when, if Worlds 22, the same way that we had Worlds 2021 plans, could just get postponed again.
Exactly.
Do I think the world's back to normal in a year? No. I think the way that the thing ended, and I've said this a couple times before, maybe not necessarily here, we went from regional championships at Collinsville, League Cups, League Challenges, no Pokemon, and we're going to go no Pokemon, hover in that zone. I don't think we're going to go no Pokemon, World Championships. Like
Right, I
that
agree.
to me does not seem like a natural progression. I think that we might have hybrid league challenges,
Yep.
hybrid league cups, where you have them online in real life, depending on the area that you're in. And it all has to go with percentages or kind of how they determine vaccinations and stuff like that.
Yep. I think
I think
yeah,
that's the only way that it comes to travel. Like
I agree.
you just can't have a large percentage of people who have it and then people dying at a Pokemon event,
Right.
or
Yeah.
it grows in different areas, or I don't know how every country even does it if it's free for everyone. Like there's a whole bunch of things when we got to look on a global aspect. That Worlds is probably, I'd argue that the Worlds that they postponed is already out of the question. I could be wrong. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I mean, again, like I said, wash your hands, wear a mask, do not hug your mom, like please.
Right.
Um,
But yeah.
but
No,
I think
yeah.
that Worlds, when it comes to if you're thinking more about like an invite structure, they said everyone from the 2019 to 2020 season, their points will be honored. It depends on when the season goes back. If we're starting a fresh season, those are probably like a bonus entrance points in order to qualify into Worlds. Otherwise, if it's a half a season, I could see the World's invite structure cutting their season in half. Maybe they'll go people who had a team challenge qualifier who got in there, or
Yeah.
maybe they'll make other thresholds for some online event qualifiers. And I also think that there's a good chance that Pokemon will do something special online that weekend. We are in Pokemon's 25th anniversary.
Right.
They do know how to run online events fairly well at this point. They probably don't necessarily need to announce anything right now, and I have no inside knowledge. Pokemon doesn't let me know anything special at all. And if I ever knew anything special at all,
Yeah,
which I totally don't, I'm being 100%, I'm not allowed to talk about anything special at all.
Right.
So I'm not here going to try to shoot myself. I'm just saying we ran an unofficial World Championships last year for the community. Not us. I just mean like the community and a lot of community members
Yep.
and higher up organizers. There's a very good chance that something happens again, either unofficially or officially by Pokemon.
Yeah, that was something I also wanted to touch on, because I think most people in the online scene, or people who have at least been in the online scene for a while, know about like POG 2020, and sort of what that was all about. It was a while ago. I mean, it was a long time ago. But with this recent postponement of the actual Worlds tournament, I don't sort of I wouldn't be surprised if people were to come together and run something like POG, and I kind of completely would be down for it. I think it needs to be handled better, and right now the online tournament community of organizers and sort of organizations is much more in depth and a lot more sort of
like we did not have Limitless, the Play Limitless website at
Yeah.
that time. Like I think a lot of it had to do with Discord and cool pair. Like the way to sign up for POG was very intuitive, very interesting, innovative at the time.
Yeah, it was cool.
There was definitely some failures with POG. I think anyone who was involved with POG would be like, yeah, there's aspects that sucked. We probably didn't predict this. I mean, I think it's like anything. I'm sure you've had moments in chill. I mean, when I was doing events for Hyperlux, there was times where I was like, oh shoot, something went wrong. Let's do our best to go above it. But I think now we're in a much better place. Limitless is a little bit more foolproof. especially when it comes to running these events. So I mean, I think Limitless themselves could probably run a large events. I'm sure we will have some. We'll start having some large events, and I mean, I think as the community, and even for us being ambassadors in our own kind of specters of Pokemon, our own kind of everything, we could even run something like that. I mean,
Yeah, dude.
we've already talked about some of our ideas that we have.
I mean, we got GG Tour, man, and we have. I mean, Atlas, of course, ran Pog, but we have access to so many other talented people from over at Hexters. We have people
Every
at
year's like
Limitless.
a new season.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. And I think they did like donations right into the prize pool for Pog, I believe, something of the such.
Yeah.
And I think that would be cool. Like, and I would be all for it. If in 3-4 months from now, if we decided to sort of try to get a big collection of donations and get a massive prize pool to run a World Championships like tournament. I don't.
They could run World Championship, unofficial World Championships qualifiers, so people can qualify instead of making it a
Right.
free for all. I mean, I think there's a lot of cool things that could just that could necessarily happen, but
Yeah, I think there's a
I
lot
don't know.
of stuff like
It's
that.
interesting for sure. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. There's a lot of cool stuff that just got canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to your local McDonald's, maybe you're not going to find some Pokemon cards. Today's either a great day or a bad day.
I
It is what it is.
I mean, I agree. I agree completely.
But I know
Moving
that.
on. You want to move on to a
Yeah.
top? Oh, sorry, I didn't. Were you gonna?
I was going to say, what's our next topic here, Matt?
Yeah.
I usually let you be the one who controls.
I'd say at this point we can sort of get into Players Cup 3 stuff because it is going on right now. We're in the midst of sort of the qualification period. I believe we have like 2 or 3 weeks left, probably 2 weeks left of qualification period, maybe a little more, something like that. 3 weeks, yeah. So, we're in it. I think we're like.
I think it's February 26th.
Okay, yeah. So I mean that's about
Maybe 28th.
Okay, so
It's
a
either
little
the
less.
26th or 28th. Check the Pokemon website. Don't
Yeah.
quote me on this.
Yeah.
I don't want you to miss a qualifier. Be like, oh, I'm gonna save 10 keys for last day. Don't
Right.
procrastinate on it, peeps. I'm procrastinating though. I've
Yeah.
been procrastinating.
I mean, I think, but again, we'll talk about it. I think procrastination is sometimes better when it comes to Players Cup stuff. But yeah, I mean, everybody's sort of, a lot of people have burned through their keys already. Like you already know, people are just doing that in the first week or so. And we've seen a lot of different, I guess, like people's experiences with Players Cup. We both have played a decent amount of it, so we can kind of give our own experience. And I did talk about that a little bit as well on the Pittsburgh Pokemon podcast. But it's a good topic to cover. The first thing that I want to go over, Zach, is what has been your pick for the deck of choice? Has it been multiple decks? Has there been a couple that you're pretty confident in playing? And overall, what would you say is sort of the best option right now to play for your Players Cup qualifiers?
So I've been playing a little bit of everything right now, just kind of like feeling out the formats. I think I've only used like maybe 17 keys, maybe 18 keys. So I played Luke Metal, which hasn't been faring too well for me.
Okay.
Only for like 2-3 keys. I think that it's poorly placed. I've talked about it a few times on my YouTube channel online. I think Luke Metal's a deck for me personally to stay away from, but I do understand the appeal for other players.
Yeah.
I feel like there's other decks that I could do well with. Pikarom, I've been kind of putting to the back burner. I played it a few times. Again, very similar results as Luke Metal. I think it's kind of the new ADP getting hated under the format.
Yeah.
I've then really the other things, I think the only other 2 decks that I've played have been Eternatus and Scenascorch.
Mm-hmm.
Both have been doing better than the rest of the decks, with I think a slight edge towards Eternatus. I just won the E&D's event this past week with Eternatus. Top cut at Chill, unfortunately coming 9th. And I mean, I think I've made top cuts 3-4 weeks in a row now at Chill with Eternatus. And a few other online events, E&D, stuff like that. It's one of those things where Eternatus is doing well for me. I don't necessarily want to change it. I think it might have the best matchup spread in the game.
I agree with that.
It's close between that and Scenascorch. Very, very similar. However, I think Eternatus with Spiritomb and Big Charm might have the best matchup spread out of any deck that I've played so far.
I agree. I think they're similar. The thing is, I think that Etern sort of has the favored matchup against Scenascorch, right? And that's sort of like a big. They're both very much played decks, but if I was gonna choose one of those two to face the other, I would choose Etern, personally.
What about you? How's I mean, I know that you've had some huge downs, and then I've heard about a few of your ups. Those late nights where you cram in a Luke Metal win here or there. How's your Players Cup going?
Yeah, so it's been like really low lows, really high highs for Players Cup. When I first started, like my first 10 keys or so, my luck was just atrocious. And I'll be the first to say that I'm not like a super high level player, but I can recognize when I'm just sort of getting steamrolled by sort of the bad draws and the bad matchups or whatever. At the beginning, I was like, I'll try out ADP. Maybe it's just sort of like that cheese factor. Like maybe maybe it is a good option. Tried it for a few keys, just had terrible luck with it. Then I went to Peak for a bit. Also had pretty bad luck. And played Senti for the last few there at the beginning. Also had pretty bad luck. I think I literally averaged like just over like 1 rep per key, like in the first 10 keys that I played. So it was a terrible start. Like after 10 keys, I had like 11 points or something, or like 12 rep. And I changed it up a bit. And for my next about 10 to 12 keys or so, I played Luke Metal. Because like you said, Luke Metal is a deck that to me, it seems like that it gets punished less for having bad starts because you're able to play the long game with Luke Metal.
Sure.
And it's, if unlike other decks, whereas if you really get bad starts for the first 2 or 3 turns, you don't have as much chance of surviving as you do with Luke Metal. And I liked Luke Metal, and I think my luck was overall better with Luke Metal, which does help. So I think in my second 10 keys, I averaged like around 3 rep per key, or maybe a little bit more.
Huge.
Yeah, it was good, and Luke Metal was very good for me. I won I think I won like 6 or 7 tournaments, or like got to the finals at least. I had a bunch of wins. I think it was like 5 or 6 in my first, and then in my second 10 keys, and it was going really well. And then I played. Just trying to think. I played about 10 after that as far, like between, and that was like in the first week or so. And I played about 10 since then, and my luck has either been phenomenal and I get some wins, or I just get tanked in the first round. So right now I currently have about like 15 keys left or so. And I haven't even been keeping track of my rep because again, I'm not even too invested in it. And I might come back later. I might just try to make a late game push. But for me, Luke Metal did really well. And it was kind of one of those things where like I either played against like a welder deck, and just got tanked, or I didn't, and I most oftentimes won. So for that aspect, it was kind of rewarding. I have gotten some wins against Sentis though. Like Luke Metal doesn't have a terrible Senti matchup in general, unless they are playing sort of like Giratina and Nets, and they get some good draws and whatnot. But sometimes you're playing like Silvally or just like a Sentis Scorchless that isn't playing Giratina, and they just sort of get a slow start, and you just kind of roll through them. But I like,
it's definitely possible. Zacian is literally one of the best cards, period, ever.
It's so good.
So that can definitely carry you. I've had a lot of games that it's gone like that. And I guess I never said what my rep is or anything like that. So in case anyone was just wondering, I think I'm at 43 rep after 17 keys used.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm on track for sure, at a pretty good rate. Not at like a 3.0 or anything like that, but anything above a 2.0, on pace for over 100 rep is usually pretty good. But we'll see. I mean, I'm still in a time crunch. I have to go through like 3 tournaments a day right now.
Yeah.
In order for me to do it, basically 3 tournaments every weekday. So I have to start gearing up for that. I'm probably gonna blitz through them at the end.
Yeah.
I know I said I'd pace myself, but I think my last few keys went pretty horrible, and I took a little bit of time off.
Yeah.
But during that time, I really worked on making Eternatus better, focusing a lot on my poor matchups, poor starts.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where use your time wisely, but don't forget to complete your Players Cup if you want to try it.
Yeah, and I think that's and I think that's sort of important because you've, like you said, you took a step back from Players Cup, but then you've kind of moved on to some of these online events that you're playing in throughout the week, testing, kind of editing lists, practicing, and yeah, I mean, of course, Zach is a great player, but it's always good when you're trying to figure out new things in the meta, new lists. Like playing more Pokemon's not going to hurt anything, even if you are one of the best players in the world. And I think even if you're not one of the best players in the world like Zach is, even playing in these online events is only going to make you better with your deck. It's only going to make you better understanding matchups, and it's just going to be good practice. So I highly suggest it.
Kind of get ready for like we already know that Worlds is over a year and a half away. If there is a Worlds,
yeah,
if you have all the spare time, like if you watch anime, just to be like Goku, pop some beans, go into the chamber.
That's right.
And I mean, don't like, I don't want anyone to clip this out of the context or something and be like, Zach's telling my kids to pop the beans. No, I'm just saying, like, use this time to literally 100% just get yourself together.
Yeah.
You probably suck at the game. I'm being honest. Like, most players suck at the game.
I suck at the game.
Use this time. I suck at the game sometimes. Like, I went from pre-pandemic to finishing second at an international championships, and I've become so much better since then. And that's only because I've owned my craft. I've become much better during this time. Like, I'm ready to, like, I could rip the shirt off right now, jump into a regional championships, just like raring to go. And I'm just so excited to really prove myself again when in real life play comes out.
Yeah.
That's really where it is. But like, players have opportunities now where you at least minimum have a year and a half of just like pure grinding. You could play 4 events a day nowadays. Like,
I mean, literally, you can play more and more. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, bro. I don't know. You know, and PTCGO is so different because it's so like less. It's so much easier to be sort of disconnected to it while you're playing, right? Because it doesn't. It's just you're clicking. You're just sort of like, you know, clicking cards, clicking buttons, dragging this, clicking that. You know, it's so much easier to sort of be mentally.
Concentration really comes in, right?
What's that?
I feel like that's where like concentration, like you gain different skill sets by playing PTCGO.
Yeah.
Because like in real life, like there's so many things. Like, I know there's a lot of players that only play online and think they're like they're literally hot right now, and that's cool. I want everyone to feel good about themselves. But when in real life play, there's a lot of things where it comes to like the way that you hold your cards, the way that you just like feel the game. The tactile experience is a lot different.
Yes.
And I think there's more skill sets, especially like you're in like at home. I'm here. There's no noise at a regional championships. Closer to like being at a concert venue.
Yeah.
Can you think amongst the noise? Can you think amongst a judge watching your play or like a circle surrounding your game?
Right.
These are things that don't happen online at all.
Sounds hype though.
So I mean,
like, imagine if we did have a spectate function in PTCGO, not to cut you off, and like some of these
PTCGO. Let's like,
but imagine a spectate function in like its finals at like Chill 29 or whatever, and you get 100 people spectating. Yeah, wouldn't that be just like,
you have Josh Sutherland playing Luke Metal against a Senna Scourge, and we're like, Josh is sweating it out. And
yeah, no, but wouldn't that, I mean, that would be hype though, and there's nothing like that, right? In an IRL, sometimes you're like on like
you have Discord calls where you can deafen. You have you have Twitch where you could watch some things. You have Maddy's recorded content or my recorded content from the events that I play in. But I mean, I think this is also a good time for Pokemon, as everyone has things to do during this time.
Yeah.
Where you can grow as a player. Pokemon can grow their online platform. Like, as much as I hope that Chill TCG continues to offer, or even Chill TCG spiritually passes the baton onto another organizer at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone has opportunities for growth. I think that people could just do their own things. Pokemon could really grow their online platform. I hope that there's Players Cups while we have in real life tournaments. I hope there's more opportunities. I think that it allows us to have more of a global game.
Yeah, I agree completely. So that was our Players Cup 3 rant and some other stuff that just came up from out of nowhere, just because, you know, when you talk about something, it just leads into something else. But, you know, one other thing that I wanted to mention, and this isn't sort of, you know, I don't want to mention it sort of as like to be disappointing or anything like that. But one thing that probably a lot of people have noticed is that there's been a massive dip in overall attendance for just a lot of the online tournaments recently. You know, it's sort of debatable why. Like, I don't think there's one particular reason for it. I think there's a lot. If I had to weigh in on it, I would say that Players Cup definitely was sort of something that, and I think it did last season as well. So like when Players Cup comes around and people are sort of, you know, that's in their heads sort of is what the main thing that's going on right now. They might choose to go play Players Cup qualifiers for a couple hours instead of playing in a tournament on Wednesday night or whatever. So I think that is part of it. I think Players Cup does take away from sort of these more independent online tournaments. Things like Limitless, Hexters, Chill, and all the other ones as well. I think their attendance drops from Players Cup, but I don't think it's that huge of a deal. I think the big ones, Zach, are probably, you know, winter break is over and people are going back to school. and things like that, or going back to work,
That was
whatever it
really
might
where a
be.
huge boom was, right? Like everyone was at home during holiday break.
Yeah, man, there was a period of time where I know for me for chill TCG tournaments, we had one week where we had two tournaments over 300 players.
It was crazy. I literally remember playing in those
Yeah,
events,
it
and
was
I was like, man, like where do these people how do they exist?
right.
Like
And
how many people actually are there?
and
But I agree with you. I think that Players Cup, it's the unofficial chill Hegster, all these events that really are the community pillars, community
right,
crutches, versus when Pokemon tosses us some fish food in our tank,
right.
which is the Players
They
Cup,
drop
and
some
we're
flakes in
trying to
there.
gobble at it. You only have so many teeths, right?
Right.
So I mean, it's just one of those things. I know a lot of friends who took off breaks from playing a few
Yeah,
events, and they're regular grinders,
I get it.
regular players who would necessarily play in all these
Yeah,
events. And I mean, I think that's fair. The format's also a little bit stale.
exactly.
Best of
That was my
one
third
sucks.
point. Yeah, that was my third
I
point.
think best of one sucks. Like I know that we've talked about it where it's unforgiving, and it's only due to a time constraint that's why these events are run best of one during the week. I think best of three overall is much better, but that's what we have for like the GG Tour, Chill TCG
Yeah,
Cash
yeah.
events. Stuff like that is much better.
I think it's entirely necessary. If you have thousands of dollars of cash on the line, you can't just leave it up to best of one in Pokemon. It's too open ended, and you really need to sort of work to kind of wean out the luck. And that's again, and I think we talked about it last week too, but that's sort of what the new structure, as well as time management, sort of conserving time overall for tournaments. Our new structure for the Chill Series tournaments, by proxy, also sort of help when it comes to sort of bolstering, or sort of, I guess, falling back less on the best of one sort of format that these tournaments are, because we have the multiple phase system. Going 5-3 at Chill Series, it's not easy, but it's much easier than going 7-1-1 and then going into a top 32.
6.1, you bubble at Hegster.
That's what I'm saying. And then you go into like a top 32 cut, and you might just lose, right? It's single elimination, so you might just lose at top 32. Yeah.
And just to put it as a personal thing, like I went 5-3 last week.
Yeah.
Had three rough, horrendous games. One was a poor matchup. Two were just like games where I was like, awesome, I drew nothing. I did go 4-0 phase two.
What's up?
I did bubble at ninth, but I had the same record as everyone else. It just so happened my opponents did not want to win as many games as the other people on the top eights.
Right.
So I mean, I still had an opportunity to make it. I was only like a couple percent off, and it's very possible that like if it were to all go over again, that I could have made top eight and potentially even won the event. So I think your structure is very rewarding to players if they just want to play more Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I think it's also really good for content creation because it allows me to stream longer.
Right.
It makes it worthwhile for me to stream because there's so many tournaments where you're like, cool, I lost my second game. I'm out. Whereas in Chill, you could lose your third game and still be in.
Right. And I think overall, like, making a phase 2 is fun because, you go from 200 or so players to down to like, 40 or 50 players in phase 2, and a lot of those players are good, right? So you're playing against good decks, good players, and it's good competition. And you might get unlucky. I'm not saying like
The after party.
it is. It's like the VIP club. Well, it's the after party, and then the top eight's the VIP club.
Wine comes out.
Yeah, that's the
You're
wine.
popping the box wine.
That's when the giant bottles of vodka come out that cost about like $800, and then you just pop it just to dump it on people. You don't even drink it. Yeah. Or like that one guy in the video, if you saw, who dropped it and just shattered. You ever see that video?
That's a huge L. That's a huge L, bro.
It's a big L, bro. Yeah, you probably didn't even pay for that one. So that's tough.
Probably not.
But yeah, I think the format's pretty stale. And it's interesting to note. And Zach, I don't want to point fingers, but there's a pretty big correlation between this whole ADP ban to sort of the attendance and the staleness of the tournament just skyrocketing, or attendance dropping and staleness skyrocketing. I think a lot of people are like, all right, people are just kind of shunning ADP out of the game. That was my deck. I'm not going to play. And at the same time, the format hasn't changed much at all. Now I just can't play ADP, which was a very popular deck. People are just playing E-Turn. I'm getting slapped every game by E-Turn or Senti.
Yeah.
And people have sort of shamed Pika out of the format as well. It was like too good for a while, and they were like, no. We're going to make sure that don't happen.
Changes. There's always room for other decks. I mean, if there's always a top five, decks don't ADP is probably not top 5. There's got to be another deck that's within the top 5 that's capable right now, right? And maybe that's the colossal deck that Gabe and I came up with about a month ago. Maybe it's something else new. We've seen Rillaboom, Brow Eggs pop up, stuff like that. I mean,
Mad Party was a good one.
Like light at the end of the tunnel is Shining Fates is coming out. There's about 10 to 20 new cards. It's not a core set, so let's not look at it like it's a core set. But there's about 10 to 20 cards that are interesting. They can spruce up our Pokemon life. So I think that's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Battle Styles is coming out in March. So we're only about a month away from that. So within a month span, we should have, 200 new cards, maybe with 70 of them viable. So we're probably going to see things a little bit, doing well. And I mean, we don't know what's coming after Battle Styles, or at least nothing is really confirmed at this point. I know there's been that Evolution Gengar kind of set that I think Poke Beach just talked about. But it's one of those things where once we get some translation stuff like that, Maddy and I, of course, are going to cover it on our channels respectively.
Of course.
And we'll keep everyone involved and kind of excited about Pokemon. Because as much as we could say Pokemon's stale, I'm still playing in Maddy's events, creating content. Maddy's still running events, creating content. And I mean, I think it's one of those things where we could all just look at everything positive, just be grateful for what we have. But I don't know. It's I think, do we still have one more thing to talk about?
Yeah, we could probably drag it out for a few minutes here. On that same note, though, it is tough when Eternatus VMAX win 3 of your last 4 tournaments, and you're just struggling as a content creator to, because I mean you got to give people their credit. Like you can't have somebody win your tournament and then you don't get to sort of give them the spotlight and talk about their deck. But when it's the same, very similar lists every week, it's just you can kind of feel that even the content might be getting a bit stale. But we do other things to sort of combat that. It's interesting to note. I mean, we've talked about Etern and Senti, but those were some of the best decks on my 10 best decks video list in terms of the statistics for the past month, and I think it shows. But yeah, man. What else we got to talk about here? Let me take a look. Well,
checking his list. He's checking it twice.
I got a spicy one for you, Zach. I don't know if we're in like no leaks territory, but things have been popping off recently. The podcast, it's been extremely well received. My channel has been well received. Chill series has been well received. Everything is going really well. As our small community within our small community, the Yellhorn community and Zach with a rebrand on his channel.
I recently transitioned from the Lone Blown to Zach Lesage PTCG.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. No more Blown. What happened, Zach? I don't know. I went from becoming a content creator in a dark time in my life. Kind of grew up. I mean, even if you put a flower in a dark room, sometimes it grows. Here's Zach Lesage. Can't prune me out of the game. Word up. Anyways, all jokes aside and all whatever.
Yeah.
My channel's been doing really well recently too.
Yeah.
I'm just about to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark.
There it is, 1,000 subs, baby. Yeah.
So that means Maddy and I are kind of twinning. I'm still got to catch up, but that's okay.
No, it's good.
I feel like Kanye. If I'm Kanye West. And I mean, it's very possible I'm Kanye West. Okay. There's a lot of things that are very similar to Zach Lesage and Kanye West.
Yeah. Very similar.
Maybe being unstable is one of them.
I think
then that means Maddy is Jay-Z. He's Hova.
Yeah, I'll be Jay-Z. That's fine.
You'll be Jay-Z.
Anyway, to get back on point, with everything going really well and things being well received, Zach, of course, he's about to hit 1,000 subs on his YouTube. That's super cool. When I hit 1,000, I did a cool little special tournament with cash prizing. We had a great turnout. But that was before the Yellhorn, I think. Or maybe it was right at the beginning, I'm not sure. But now, Zach is hitting 1,000. The Yellhorn, me and Zach, we want to put our communities together and do something cool. Of course, both of us have experience running events. Both of us are sort of ingrained in the online Pokemon community at the moment. It sort of makes sense to do something special for, a special occasion. And this is sort of something that we've wanted to do, I think, for a while. But I think the 1,000 subscribers, it's sort of like it's like
a let's celebrate everything all at once.
Yeah.
Kind of like a pandemic birthday when you see your cousin, your aunt, your brother, and it's your brother's birthday, your dad's birthday.
Yeah.
Zach reaching 1,000 subs, Yellhorn success, a toast to Maddy's success, Yellhorn events.
That's what's up. So we're going to, exactly, Yellhorn a Yellhorn PTCGO event. So I think that's the plan. I think things are in work. But yeah, I mean, I'm confident in saying right now that in the next few weeks, we'll have a Yellhorn Pokemon trading card game online tournament, much like a chill series, much like a limitless, but we're gonna go extra special for it. So.
I think okay, so let's throw out some things that would make it a good event. So I think first and foremost, we want everyone to be included. So let's make it free.
Yeah,
100%. I think that sounds like a good one. Let's just spitball some ideas here quick.
Definitely free.
And let us know in the comments below if there's something that you want to cool. I mean, I think Maddie and I have both talked about it, that we think standard is just the best way to run things.
Yeah. Standard is...
Right now, no bans. We want to make sure that everyone can participate with whatever cards they have.
Yep, no bans. It's got to be official. It's got to be a...
Let's go with large pack prize pool.
Large pack. I'm thinking...
Free large pack prize pool.
I'm thinking whether it's vivid, assorted, whether it's maybe we throw Shining Fates in there. Listen, we don't know.
We have some connects.
I'm just saying. I'm saying at least...
We know Crollo on the corner with the puffy jacket, right? Like... Crollo might got some codes in there.
We got the underground, baby.
We gotta talk to him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying at least free entry and at least 300 codes. That's just my...
we could do.
What's up?
Maybe there will be a community sponsor. Maybe there will be our own sponsors. Maybe Maddie and I will play events on PTCGO until we drop. Come up with an extra couple hundred packs. You never know what's gonna happen at the Yellhorn events, but we'll make sure that it's awesome. And I think we might even be able to stream it ourselves.
I think we cast it, man. I think we get the crew to cast
it. Bring in the Yellhorn vibe.
Yeah,
talk about it on the podcast
for sure.
And as a bonus prize, we could probably bring on the winner onto the podcast.
I think that's the best. I think that's it. I mean, if you win,
maybe they could run our Twitter, because I think Elon Musk is busy. I know that. If I was hanging out with Grimes all day, I probably wouldn't be running the Yellhorn Twitter.
You gonna fire Elon Musk from our Twitter account? Is that what you're telling me?
I might fire Elon Musk right now.
All right. Well, listen, you're gonna have to talk to him about that. But yeah, definitely the winner of the podcast, or sorry, the winner of the tournament,
the podcast
gets to come on the podcast, man. You can do whatever you want. You can ask us whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. You get to that's part of your prize.
Let's be real. Let's be family friendly vibe. We try. If you want to play Fortnite with us after 10 o'clock at night, maybe not so family-friendly vibes. If you're on the podcast and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon,
right?
Let's keep it real. Let's keep it PG.
I agree. Yeah, that's what we do, right? You keep it PG, and then the late night Fortnite games, things get heated, things get a little bit gnarly out there, and
yeah, you mute your mics and say whatever you want. You don't want the internet to catch what happens at Fortnite late at night. That's okay.
That's right. But yeah, Yellhorn tournament coming up. I don't even know. I don't even know what we call it. The Yellhorn Cup or something. Well, name's in work. Everything's in works right now.
Yeah. Who was it? I think it was Gyroshan on there. What's it called? A T? It starts with a T. The double. What's Yellhorn thing called?
I don't know what it's called, bro.
We can call it like that. The whatever it's called, the cup.
No, I don't know if people would know that though. I don't know if they would.
I mean, I think anyone's like free 500 pack or 300 pack even. I don't think people are signing up for like. If people are signing up for Vixen's events, people are going to sign up for our event.
Hey, don't.
Fact. It's one of those things where I think players just want to play Pokemon right now. There's not a lot else to do. I think people are going to sign up for our event either way. Let us know. Are you excited to play in our secret no leaks, fully leaked events? I don't know.
Yeah, let us know.
We'll figure it out.
Well, yeah, just stay tuned for announcements. Again, maybe it's not too smart to sort of announce something when you don't have most of it worked out, but it's not a formal announcement. It's going to come eventually.
We're go-getters. I mean, let's just put it out here. If Maddie can't come up with his packs, I'll make sure it happens. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows Crollo, who knows Elon Musk.
Who knows Crollo? Yeah, I mean, if you know Crollo can just do anything. He's kind of a miracle worker. And he's got a really big jacket with a lot of coats. So
yeah, and I mean, Crollo's got some sponsors too, so maybe they could help out. And I mean, there's other things going on, so there's lots of things that we can kind of deal with. So on that note, I think we cheers off our success, pray to the future, look forward to the Yellhorn number 9. Maybe you will be our special guest, whoever's listening to this right now or watching this right now.
I think it would probably be like Yellhorn 10 that they come on, right?
Yellhorn
maybe 11.
Well, I mean, I just not necessarily the person playing in the event. I just mean the person who's listening.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
If you were trying to come on,
while you're listening to our podcast, you could be our next guest.
maybe it's Elon Musk, bro. But yeah,
maybe it's Elon Musk.
You never know. I mean, we had Wolfie VGC. If we have Wolfie, we could have Elon. You know,
Yeah,
I feel like
if we have Wolfie, we could get anyone. If there, I don't even know who I'd want. We'll figure it out. We'll find someone really cool. But if you're really cool and you want to be on our podcast,
let us know.
Our DMs, even including the ones run by Elon himself,
slide in to the DMs.
Slide into those DMs. Slither like the season 2 snakes.
Season 2. Okay.
Anyway,
yeah, we're gonna.
That's about it, guys. That's it for this podcast, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up, man. It's tough when you just really try to push out those last 5 minutes, but anyway, shout out to Elon Musk. We're gonna get out of here, and rest in peace, Worlds 2021. So, catch you later, Zach. We'll see you next week.
Take it easy, Maddie, and for everyone else who's listening right now, I'll give you some homework for next week. Try to figure out Kappa Hab's true age. Peace out.
Peace out.